Hello, everyone. I am so excited that you all are here. I'm just seeing if this will let me go live on Instagram too, so we can say hi to our Instagram friends. I'm here with Jamie Love, and we are going to have a conversation today about um, so many things. But first of all, both of our books, or actually, I think we each have like multiple books, are in the raw vegan, or not the raw vegan, but the plant based bundle. I'm getting my bundles mixed up, Jamie. So my books are in there called Raw Vegan Doesn't Have to Be Hard. I also have The Easiest Way to Transition to a Raw Vegan Diet and Start Salading. And my first book, How I Went from Sad to Glad, which tells my story of going raw vegan. So, Jamie, tell us about your books in the plant-based bundle.
Yes, thank you so much for having me, JJ. Okay, so this is my first bundle. I'm really excited. And as you guys know, I've published a bunch of books, but my two most recent ones, The Diary of a Recovering Food Addict, as well as my Ageless Beauty Method ebook, are both in there. So super excited about it.
I am excited to hear about your books, and I wanted to kind of
And
tie
yours
this.
too, yeah.
Thank you. I wanted to tie this into a conversation a little bit around, and we can always talk about our different books throughout this bundle. But the one I wanted to really focus on is how our books kind of tie together in their teachings, because I feel like I was reading through your food recovery, or recovery of a food addict. Is that how it goes?
Diary, yeah, it's just a
Diary.
cute
Okay.
title. It's not actual diary, but it's just, it's like
Yeah.
the past 20 years of everything I've learned about, food obsession and clean eating and, the yo-yoing back and forth of going raw, just what I've learned about, developing more of a healthy relationship with nourishing my body.
I love that. And I think throughout the time, like what we both learned is some similar things. I'm interested to hear more about how you had like freedom from food. But I also think that's why I stopped going in all these diets, and then I went into like the perfection mindset where I had to do everything perfectly. So I feel like in some ways we've come on a journey of, I thought originally it was just about losing weight, and then I realized there's so many ways you can lose weight. Like literally you can eat soft pretzels probably once a day and lose weight. That's not the most nutrients that you could be giving your body. And I discovered it was just about a simple routine. It doesn't have to be exciting, even though this bundle, like we were both saying, has so many exciting cookbooks and recipes as far as for raw and plant-based, individuals and beginners. I wish I had had this in the beginning just to have all these things at my fingertips. But our books kind of play into, mine is really simple eating, and I think yours discovers how you came through the last 20 years of in and out of diets, going, both of us going vegan, experiencing what that's like, and the emotional parts of it, and then delving into food, raw food, detox, clean eating. And ultimately I feel like we've came to a similar place, because I see your amazing post. Wanda, shout out to Wanda here from, I think she's in both of our groups. She made your food recovery soup the other day, which looked amazing, and shared a picture over on our school community. So I'm so excited to hear more about it. And I think that's where the conversation comes down to, is freedom from food. Even though that's the focus of most diets, it doesn't have to be something that we think so much about. Is that kind of the idea of freedom from food for you?
Well, there's a lot to it. So we have like this epidemic of food obsession and food addiction in our culture, in our world. And it's not just about I'm trying to, because you said a lot. So I'm trying to go back to what you first
Oh, sorry,
originally. No, it's
my
okay.
brain.
I'm trying to remember the point, because I had it and then I lost it. Can you just remind me, like, give me a question or something so that I can kind of narrow
Yes.
narrow down the focus.
What to you? What does it mean when we say freedom from food addiction?
That's what I was going to say. So I don't think that we actually Well, first, I want to say that there's nothing wrong with recipes and things like that. I don't think every person is addicted, but we do have addiction. There is food addiction. And it's the one that kind of goes unnoticed and is most normalized because everybody has to eat, which also makes it the hardest to overcome. And through my 20-year journey, I don't know if we ever really overcome this addiction that we have towards food. My husband eats a very, very disciplined diet. And if he smells like something or sees, a food that he won't eat it, but he's like, oh, that looks so good. It's like, what is that craving inside of us that wants that comfort, that wants the dopamine fix, that wants the entertainment, that wants to numb or whatever it is. So I think the key is, and what I'm learning is that it's not necessarily going to go away. So I don't think there's any like cure for this. Like, I mean, even people who do really long fasts and so-called breatharians, a lot of them go back to eating food because they miss the culture of it. They miss the community aspect. There's just something about food in our culture that we're so attached to, and it has this obsession. And as I went from standard American Italian family, lots of processed food and junk food, I went to vegan. And what did I do? What does everybody do? We have our favorite foods, and then we make recipes to try to have a healthier substitute. And then, we're trying not to fall off. We're trying to stay on our diet, and that's where all this yo-yoing comes from. And why is it so hard to give up certain foods, right? And we don't even realize that we have this addiction until we start to switch our diet and we start to eat healthier foods, how much of a hold these, sugars and oils and salts and processed foods and candy and whatever it is, like a lot of it is emotional attachment. A lot of it has to do with childhood. A lot of it has to do with love. So much I see people feeding children who aren't even hungry. I see them, like do the airplane and shoving the food in the baby's mouth, and the baby's like not doesn't even want it, So and then what do we do when a baby cries? The first thing we do, we shove a bottle in its mouth, So we've been trained since birth, even before probably, we've been having our mother's processed food and everything while she's in pregnant. But since birth, we've been trained to soothe ourselves with food, and we continue to do that. So food is no longer about nourishment in our culture, in our society. I'm not saying that this is for everyone. I'm just saying, like, majority, we don't question why we're eating. We don't question, is this nourishing my body? Am I actually hungry? Am I full? Have I had enough? Why am I eating this? Everything has to revolve around food. Can we go to a restaurant and not eat if we're not hungry? Can we go to a party and have a conversation without, having to have a plate and snacking on something in our hand? It's fascinating, like when you come down to this. And what I've really been learning, and I have these tests in the book and everything, like we have the movie theater test, because like why do we even need to eat while we're watching a movie or we're watching TV? Why does everything kind of have to revolve around food? So it's like the grocery store test. You have like an idea of what you want at the grocery store, and then you go in and you get kind of pulled in by this, and then you end up getting stuff that you don't even need, and the same thing with like the restaurant. You have the bread basket, you've got the appetizers. It's like a whole experience, and then food becomes the center of entertainment. And, it kind of takes up mental space. It takes up spiritual space. It takes up all this space inside of us. And then there's this filter between us and reality. It kind of, when we become obsessed with food, it interferes with our relationships. It interferes with intimacy. Sometimes, a lot of times, in the past, I'm a lot better now because I've been really working at it. But a lot of times in the past, I couldn't even be intimate and I don't mean like, I'm not talking intimate in a sexual way. I just mean present. I mean, present with my loved ones, my kids, my husband, whatever it was, because I'm thinking about food. I'm thinking like, as soon as we go out, I'm like, ooh, what kind of restaurants are there? What's this? And, we're just always looking for something where we have to find, the next fix. And when I went raw, the first time, well, many times, because over the past 15 years, I've gone raw so many times, but it was always about what recipe can I make to curb the craving so that I'm not craving the addictive foods that I'm trying to get over. And that's not really, the best way to kind of overcome this addiction is like replacing it with something else. Not saying it's bad. Like some people can eat something and then they're done. Other people, they can't stop. It really, there is a binge type addiction that comes with food. There is a lot of things lighting up in the brain. My husband said the word Whole Foods the other day. Literally in that moment, I thought of these vegan veggie egg rolls on the hot bar section, and I'm trying to eat really clean. But in that moment, my whole plan went out the window. I'm like, ooh, Whole Foods. Yeah, I want to get the veggie egg rolls. And I'm like, and then I had to stop myself. I'm like, wait, no, you're eating structured meals. You're eating twice a day. You're not snacking between your meals, So it's like we completely forget there's a part of us that, wants to eat a certain way. And then there's a part of us that forgets in the moment because, there's like a state change. And then once you find out, the craving takes over and you're like, I don't even care anymore. I want that. I'm going to go out of my way to get that or whatever it is, So it's just really fascinating. And then with the raw, right? So even with going healthy, because I've gone extreme health and then gone all the way back to standard American diet or, cooked junk food, vegan, whatever it is, just yo-yoing back and forth for years. And I'm like, why isn't this working? Because every time I go raw, everyone's like, well, you can eat as much as you want. And that was my motto too. I'm like, I could eat as much as I want. It's raw. It's healthy. I could eat raw cheesecakes all day. And that's what I was doing. I was making dehydrated pizzas and raw cheesecakes all day. And my food addiction didn't go away. So that way, when I ended up falling back, because I never actually got to the root of my addiction, fell back to, junk food vegan, I'm eating everything because it's like I trained my brain to just eat as much as I want. Even when you go to a fruit-based diet, the cure that everybody says for overcoming your addictions is eat more fruit, eat more sweet fruit, eat more calories. That didn't work for me either, So then I really had to get to the bottom of this and really see what triggers me. You have to be so mindful, so present, so alert. And it's not even about what you eat. It could be how you eat it. Are we eating when we watch TV? Are we eating while we're having a conversation? Are we eating at a restaurant where there's a lot of stimulation? Everybody's picking up the appetizers and the bread basket or whatever it is. Are we eating while we're emotionally a wreck? Are we sitting down? Are we being present? Are we showing, gratitude for the meal? Are we preparing our food with love? Are we tuning into our hunger signals to feel when we've had enough? And can we stop? So it's not even about, because here I was thinking like, okay, I'm getting really clean. I'm going to go from, eating plant-based, and then I'm going to go to eating a fruitarian diet. I want to eventually become a breatharian. But it's like, do I actually want to be a breatharian, or do I want the freedom from food, right? I don't want food to control my life. And I think a lot of people who have food addiction kind of go into the extreme because they can't stop, so they're like, I'm going to go to eating fruit because I can eat as much as I want, but they still haven't got to the root of like, what is it that I need to be eating constantly, even when I'm not hungry? And then knowing why you're eating. So the thing with the simple structured meals that you do with your salads, it makes sense because the more variety we have, for some people it's okay, but if you're a recovering food addict, too much variety or too many flavors or too many seasonings or whatever could be a trigger for overeating. So that's kind of, what I've been learning over the past 20 years. And I made this amazing book, and I hope you guys all love it.
Yes,
So
it's an amazing book. I love it, and I love your style of writing. It's so, like, I think that's what I love about your style and many others, in our world here, is I feel like it's so important to meet people where they are. And even you're very careful when we're talking about this, because we're not talking about everybody 100%. But
no.
I feel like that's why, and you're right. And I feel like not knowing how to make any recipes, or how, even at that point in time when I went completely raw vegan, the very beginning of it, I didn't know that there was so many substitutes for plant-based eating, whether it was raw or cooked, vegan. I didn't know about like tofurkey or any of that stuff. So my diet went from literally standard American to, I knew, well, so I guess the only thing I can eat is a salad, because, like, it's basically a bunch of vegetables and fruits, and that's the only time I had ever ate fruits and vegetables, sadly to say, other than it being like a little side of broccoli with a meat dish or whatever.
Right.
So I was like, okay, I'm going to make a salad. And then later on, to your point, like finding, wow, okay, so what do I do? I don't want to eat 3 salads a day. That's when I started adding fruit. But it became about this one meal that really didn't have anything to do with, oh, I love eating salads at that point. It was more or less like, I need to get all these nutrients in. As I was learning about it, I think the switch that flipped was, wow, I was eating it so many times when I wasn't hungry, because I was told you have to eat breakfast. I haven't ate yet today. I better eat something, when I wasn't even hungry. So by
Right.
mistake, it's like you learn that, the food has to be like fuel. Like if we look at animals, they, with the exception, of course, of our domesticated animals that sometimes we might be spoiling or feeding at certain blocks of time, if we look at animals in the wild, in a sense, it's like we're trying to return to our natural instincts of food, with all this noise around us, like you said, of commercials and people eating this on TV, and these connections in our mind that every Christmas we have this dish, and this person's going to feel bad if I don't eat it, because it's how they show love. And then we come into a whole world of other things, and we don't realize how focused we are on food until we try to simplify. And I think with my
Mm.
books, that's why I try to do addition before subtraction. So the first thing that happens to me, as soon as I think, I don't want to have this, I'm not going to have that anymore, the first thing your mind wants, like you said, is, I want that. Like, I need
I
that.
can't
Why?
go without
Like,
it.
it's like you become your own parent telling you can't watch TV, and the only thing you want to do is watch TV, right? Like,
Right.
you have to start finding things that you can add to your life. Like, I'm going to have, find a love and a joy for nutrition first. Like, see what these foods are doing. Like, it really helped for me to understand that food was nourishment, and vitamins, minerals, these things started to make me feel like I'm giving my body something it needs, rather than I'm just fueling that need to just grab some popcorn right now because I'm watching a movie. It
Right. And so
becomes,
I've been doing this thing, or sorry, go ahead, keep going. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
no, I was just saying, so I always start people, like, when they come into this, even though I know the idea, like you said, is to find replacements for everything, but just to start so simple that you do one fruit meal, even a mono fruit meal, because that helps me, for example, get my true hunger signals down. Because if I'm eating like a nice mixture of something, I might want to keep eating it just because it tastes, you know what I mean? Like, it kind of
Right.
helped me just to
Right.
do something really simple every day, whether it's eat a fruit meal and then a salad, and just get down eating that and starting to find like combinations. Because when you simplify it, you don't have to do a lot with you don't have to come up with something to eat every day, because that is something that I think takes people from wanting to do a diet, that decision fatigue of, I need to figure out everything plant-based that I can make right now, and it becomes
Or you get
overwhelming.
overwhelmed, right? You get overwhelmed with too many options. Yeah.
So if you simplify it in the beginning, you're sort of overcoming a lot of those addictions without knowing it, but also allowing your mind to focus on, I'm doing something good for myself today, and I'm going to do that one little thing again tomorrow. And it lessens that overwhelm of I have to change my whole life today, but without knowing it. And I remember in your Ageless Beauty group, you had talked about habit stacking. And that is one of the things, if we start making better food habits, better in the sense that it's the food we want to be putting in our body and not the foods that we're trying to really, that don't serve us as well. I feel like we can do that. And then it starts to like multiply, because when you start feeling better and not, and you're feeling more freedom, you have more time to, I want to take a walk, or I'm gonna jump on this bike for 10 minutes because I'm feeling better energy now that I'm not constantly struggling in my mind, with all these addictions. And it's not easy, but there are easy ways to do it. And I feel like having resources and hearing stories like yours and mine, where we were just like that, we were the same in this world of constant, everything was about food, and then it wasn't about food. Now it's funny because like my whole life I spend talking about fruit and salad now, but it's like I am removed from I think most of the addictions, but I still go back into it. Like holidays and things like that are very, they form a little more of a challenge, I think, even when you've been doing this for a while, but you find your way through it.
Right. And I love what you said about simplifying. And the thing with the plant-based is that majority of the recipes in this bundle that we're doing are whole food plant-based, right? So it's very, they're still like very healthy meals. And it's not, I mean, there's like desserts and stuff like that too, but I think the important thing is to keep your meals structured. So you have like, this is a meal, you eat something with a meal, you eat it as a meal, and then eliminating the snacking, and then not eating when you're not hungry. If you're not hungry, don't eat.
Yeah, I think I heard one time, Jamie, that that breakfast, lunch, and dinner was a marketing ploy pretty much by breakfast cereal companies, like that. How we always hear like breakfast is the most important meal of the day, and I'm fine when people eat breakfast. I know a lot of our group eats breakfast, my community, but it's something that like it becomes more now. I tell people, eat when you're hungry. Like some people are like, I know I got to have breakfast, but I'm not hungry until 11 a.m. It's okay. Don't eat until 11 a.m. Now, side note, like obviously if you're under medical care for medications that require, from a doctor, of course, we're not medical doctors, or this isn't advice, but if you are just someone who's trying to eat healthier, that's the best thing you can do, is allow that digestion. That means your body is either healing something potentially, or it's like we forget how smart our bodies are, and we try to control everything sometimes with our mind, instead of allowing ourselves to just, hey, I'm going to eat when I'm hungry, and I'm going to stop when I'm almost full, right? But it's like that, clean your plate. That's another one that we've heard over the years.
Don't waste food. Don't waste it. Yeah. I know. Eat, take all you want, but eat all you take. That was the buffets I used to go to. They had a sign, take all you want, but eat everything you take. Don't waste the food. And the thing with the simplifying the meal, and you mentioned the food addiction recovery soup that I've been eating. It just happened. Like I just kept trying to figure out like what's spiking my blood sugar, what's causing cravings, like. When I eat something, does it make me satisfied, or does it make me want to go out searching for something else? So let's say the soup ingredients that I made, I blended it. If I eat them like, bell peppers and celery sticks and what else is in there? Tomatoes. And if I just ate them like, like picking them up and eating them, it has this hand to mouth snack like loop, which is a trigger for me. But when I blend it, I don't feel that. So that's why I've been blending it into a soup, because it's not triggering for me. So everyone is going to be different. You have to be aware of like what your triggers are. And I have a lot of them. So that's why like keeping it simple with the soup, now I'm not thinking like, what am I going to make for dinner? I don't have to think about it, So planning ahead of time, like what your meals are going to be, and then sticking to that. And then you're like, that's it. This is what I'm having for dinner. Once I'm done, kitchen closed. That's how it's got to, you know, sadly, sometimes when you're recovering from food addiction. Yeah.
Absolutely. And like feeling satisfied, is like you said, I feel like in the beginning, we feel like if you're always hungry, then like there might be one little minor thing missing. And like for me, it is like not going overboard with the fat, but also having some form of healthy fat in my last meal of the night. I feel like that helped me to feel satisfied. And when I was just trying to do only fruit, that's when I realized I wanted to go back to fruit and salad, because also feeling satisfied is part of this, you know, in knowing the true satisfaction though, and not thinking, oh, I need it because I need it, but finding that balance of what satisfies me, what's giving me the max amount of nutrients that I need for that day, for the activity that I put in, you know. And if you are not working out, you might eat a little bit less calories in a day than someone who's burning more, because your body's automatically knowing, yeah, that's why you're a bit hungrier, because you burnt more of your fuel that day. So I think just learning to listen to ourselves. But, you know, for me, that baseline can be different than yours, like you said, that you enjoy eating, and finding that routine for you can be also not being too hard on yourself, too strict on yourself. I know that my coaching style is a lot like yours, in a sense that I want you to like start to love yourself and appreciate yourself, and reward yourself for those good things you're doing, and not just focus on the bad. Because I think it can get so easy when we're trying to do a diet, and then, oh, I only wanted to have 10 grapes today and I had 11, so I'm really mad at myself. You know, something that's a little bit outrageous, but I'm just saying, like, and then not thinking, wow, 2 weeks ago I was eating cheeseburgers for lunch and I just ate grapes. We can get caught up in that one little thing,
right,
and start
and I
shaming
think
yourself
on this journey, because it is a journey of self-discovery more than anything. Like changing your diet and getting cleaning your body is so powerful, like physically, mentally, spiritually, energetically, everything. So, oh shoot, what was I going to say? This happened at least once all the time. Okay, tell
Whenever
me what
this happens,
the last
Dawn
thing you
always
said.
tells me I need blueberries when she read one time somewhere that they help your memory. So whenever I forget in the middle of my sentence, I think that just has to do for me about being over almost 50. But
what was the last thing you said before I started talking? Because I forgot.
I said that it's about not shaming yourself for what you're doing wrong, but awarding and celebrating.
Oh,
the things
you're gonna
doing
have relapses. It's totally normal. You know, it's totally normal. Like you said, like you're like, oh, last week I was eating cheeseburgers or something. So over the past 20 years that I've been plant-based and like on and off raw, I can't tell you how many times I've relapsed. I can't tell you how many times I fell off and I went on a binge or did this, or, you know, ate foods that I didn't want to eat, or whatever it is, right? So, but
it's
now
not linear, right?
It's not linear. But now if I look at myself, compare it to where I was, like you said, 5 years ago, or, you know, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, it's wow. I'm like a completely different person, because I didn't give up. You know, you make a decision, you work at it, you're going to fail, and you get back up and you do it again. And you just keep doing that. And then over time, you're going to see the changes in your appearance. You're going to see the changes in your body. You're going to see the changes in your mood. You're going to see the changes in the relationships around you, because what you eat affects everything in your life. It affects everything. And this is in the book as well, is that what you eat affects your state. So you're going to have a different experience based on what you put in your body. If you're eating nutritious meals, you're going to have one experience of life. You're going to see the world through that filter. If you're eating heavy fried, you know, animal products with, you know, tons of junk food, candy, sugar, processed foods, your experience of life is going to be completely different. You're going to You're going to see your relationships through this filter. You're going to experience direct reality. Or you're not even going to experience direct reality because there's a filter between you and direct reality, which is interesting because now we're talking about how food is affecting your overall quality of life, your consciousness,
100%.
everything. So it's life-changing. Honestly, it's life-changing.
I think that's some of the things I wasn't expecting when I went to Raw, and that's something I wanted to quick touch on right before that. So don't let me forget. I wanted to say about our like mind experience or how we see the world and my motivation, like things getting done. But before that, I wanted to say touch back on what you said about it's not like I feel like we really can't. I mean, I feel like I say now add as many raw foods as I can instead of going raw for people, honestly, because I feel like when we start going into that like perfection, we can feel like we're starting and stopping and starting and stopping. And it's not about that. It's really about feeding our body what's going to make us feel our best and satisfy us. And it takes a while to get to that point, and you will not always be 100%, especially in the beginning. Like things are going to happen, things are going to come up. So if you eat something that maybe makes you feel like, oh, this didn't make me feel as good when I ate that, that's all part of that learning experience. And you went back the next day and said, nope, I'm going back, I'm having a smoothie today because I felt so much better at work. That means that that's part of that journey, that's part of that knowledge. There are not really mistakes in this, there are learning. So
Wisdom. Wisdom.
yeah, it really is learning yourself. And one of the things that happens, even like you said, when I've gone in and out of raw over the years, is, and one of the reasons I love being mostly raw is there is a sense, and eating clean, like meaning like whole foods and not a lot of processed. I feel like it affects my mind so much and just my motivation. Like when I'm feeling really good, I can get like 100 things done in a day. Where other days, if I'm not eating that way, I've felt like, oh, it's like 4 o'clock and I didn't get anything done. On a day when I'm feeling great and raw, I could have already cleaned the house, created a new automation, 3 videos for my community, and like just like on like my productivity and also my calmness when things come up and things happen. I just feel like I'm able to handle them better. I communicate with others better. Even though I've said this before, I'm so different than everyone else around me in a lot of my life, that I eat differently. I think differently. I'm vegan, so I see the world differently. But even when it has made me a better communicator, more compassionate to others, and a better friend, I feel like, just this whole experience. And it's something that you have to experience. Like if you haven't tried it, and you don't know where to like begin, or you don't have the resources, that's one of the reasons we're on here, is because we're both in the plant-based bundle. And I just did the ultimate raw vegan bundle, and that had a lot of great stuff in it, and this one has raw vegan stuff too. It has programs, courses. It also has cookbooks and recipes. If you're at the state where, like a lot of people in my community, when I did a poll the other day, they are maybe beginning this whole journey and they just need to know what plant-based eating is like. What is eating healthier? How can I make it fit in my life? And I love these bundles.
And that's why these recipes are important, because I do think that there is a level of like a gradual transition period that you have to kind of go through, because the addiction is so strong that you could try to go cold turkey, which a lot of people can, but a lot of times people can't. I couldn't. I did go cold turkey, but then because I didn't work through my my addiction, I ended up yo-yoing back so many times. That's why I think giving this up and then giving this up, adding more plant-based foods into your diet, giving something else up, giving up processed food, giving up fast food, whatever it is. And then you start eating, more whole food plant-based, then you can start adding more raw into your diet. So it's like, that's what you're learning. You're learning, like, as you start eliminating something in your diet, you're like kind of feeling like, why was I even eating that? It's interesting. We never ask, why do we eat something? Especially when it comes to animal products. Like most people have just been indoctrinated from their families to eat. They don't know, children don't even know what they're eating. Same thing with dairy, and like you said, with the commercials and things, it's a big industry. Dairy industry is big, meat industry is big. So they make money off of you eating it, So people don't ask why they even eat something. And I just think that it's important to transition, because there are different levels to things, and especially if you're just starting out. I wish I knew, though, like what I knew now about the food addiction stuff and mindful eating. And I wish I had put those practices into place before I went raw, like get really good at plant-based before even trying to transition to raw. That's what I wish I would have done, because I don't think I would have yo-yoed back and forth so many times.
Good point. Like I did that. Like I went raw really hard, I guess hard raw, as you'd say. Like I was eating the one salad every day and for 6 months, and I lost a lot of weight. And then somewhere along the line, I think I was on like a vegan, group, because I started just trying to get every piece of information I could. And someone was talking about like a plant-based alternative. And I was like, I've lost a fair amount of weight, so I'm pretty happy. Maybe I'll try one of that. I didn't even know you could have like a vegan version of this particular meal, like a taco or burger or whatever it was. And all of a sudden that took me down a turn where I was then like my whole freezer was full of like plant-based chicken nuggets, plant-based, this or that. And that was almost like, it was interesting to learn all of that. But had I learned like from the bundle how to do it in a whole food plant-based way, that would have been a lot better if I could have made those. But it was like, it seemed like my progression went like all to raw and then back to finding that, and then whole food plant-based. I found a whole nother community. Like I didn't realize there was so many different ways to eat vegan. You just think, oh, people are vegan and that didn't work out. That's why I always tell people to, vegan is a philosophy. So within that, there's so many different ways to practice the dietary part of it. And that's where people don't realize when they say, oh, I had a friend who went vegan and she didn't feel good. Like she could have been eating like cookies and chips that were potentially vegan also. So I feel like there is like something to be said for getting all that knowledge. And that's why I think I love working with beginners, because it's like, it's very important that all the different ways that people can eat, and how it worked for me, how it works for Jamie. Learning with all these creators has really helped me to see other people's point of view and how they eat. And you might discover something like, wow, I really like Jamie's soup, or I like JJ's salad. And then also you can add and subtract and find what you like, because it has to fit in your life. If you're a busy mom with 3 kids, you may have a different way of doing this and prepping food as someone who might be single dad and doing it, so it's so important to have a lot of resources at your fingertips, but also have that baseline of, I know I want to do this and I'm going to make it work. I'm not going to run back to my old diet if something feels hard, So I try to really simplify things for people. And I think you being so vulnerable and sharing your journey really helps. Hi, Dawn and J&J Video, Dawn. And
Hi, Dawn.
Carl, thank you both for being here. I see Carl had a beautiful message up. You're both so important to me. Thank you for your service. We appreciate you. And Dawn says hi. J&J Video, go check out her awesome channel.
I did want to say that how important I feel that it is to prepare your own meals as well, because the restaurants are going to put a ton of salt, ton of oil, ton of sugar, ingredients you don't even know. You don't know what kind of oils they're using. And a lot of the foods that they create are like specifically engineered to make you want to eat more, to make you, like it smells good. It looks good. Like, obviously the food that we make at home is also going to smell good and look good, but we have more control over what the ingredients are. We have more control over how much we put in. We can measure if we're using salt, we can measure that out. We can choose not to use oil if we want to go oil-free. And yeah, I just think it's so important to put the love and the love into your food, preparing your food.
I agree. I really think I was amazed at how I can make something taste so good with such little ingredients. Like I mean, you can put together like, I mean, pineapple and, a couple of fruits, and it tastes like something that if you get that from the store, I mean, it tastes just the same to me as all this added sugar in one of those smoothies you can get, or, like a slushy drink. Who knows what, because they have to mass produce it as quickly and as cheaply as possible. It's like there's just they do it in a way that they can't do with fresh food because it would go bad in that little thing, the slushy machine. It would probably like go bad in a couple of days. So there's certain like chemicals that they're adding, and I know that's been a big thing lately. And I love when I can make something like taste like, because we all have different, like I use dressings as kind of, if I'm having, let's say, quote unquote, a craving, like I smell tacos, and I want that. I can put a little bit of chili powder in something, and I can have like my own little salad that I know has all the beautiful, good, fresh vegetables and fruits in it, or veggie fruits as I call them, like cucumbers and tomatoes, and still have that taste that I might be looking for. And I think, I don't know, you said your husband eats pretty simply. Does he ever switch up like that, or is it pretty standard? He just does this.
No, he's
For
been
a
eating
long
the
time,
same
I
thing.
didn't
He's been
either.
eating the same thing every day for 4 years.
Yeah, that's same. I mean, I eat that same exact salad, but every now and then I'll switch up what I'm putting on top of
Yeah.
it. So I agree. Like
I have
sometimes,
to say, like I'm eating the food addiction recovery soup. I'm actually adding some cooked brown rice to the raw soup. It's interesting. So it's a raw soup. I'm adding some cooked brown rice to it right now, just because I'm in this not never-ending recovery of food addiction. It works for me though. It's
yeah,
stabilizing my blood sugar. I'm not having any cravings.
I
I
love that.
feel satisfied. Like I can go out and I don't feel like I want to go like searching for food. We went to the movie theater the other day and I did not eat anything during the movie. And I'm trying to eat dinner before Daniel comes home from work
Kudos
because
to
he gets
you
home
for
late.
that.
So one, I don't want to eat too late, and two, I just want to end the habit of having to eat while I'm watching our show or a movie like that. So occasionally I'll do it, but I'm trying to break that habit so that I eat before. I'm mindfully eating. I'm eating in peace and quiet, and I'm blessing my food. And then he comes home, he eats while we're watching TV, and then I'm sitting there sipping water or something, and I never would be able to do that before, So what you eat and how you eat it really matters.
True. And Dawn said that's awesome. Sometimes all you need is a tweak that helps you stay on track. And if you can eat like say you went from standard American and you went raw and you keep going back in and out of it, if you can eat a big salad and throw some lentils on top, and that works for you every single day, that you're eating 100% healthier. Like you said, don't be afraid to tweak things along the way of how you're going to be your healthiest, and how you can add as much nutrients to your life, and feel satisfied and not feel like your food is controlling you. I think that's the
Yeah, I mean, you can. I mean, I go through periods where I fall in love with a few recipes, and I will eat those for like 2 weeks straight, and then I'm like, okay, I'm done with this. I want something else, and then I switch it up. But it's okay, like to kind of get into a routine with a meal or recipe or something like that, and then change it up. It's okay to eat the same thing every day for a week, if that's what you want to do. It's
Heck yeah.
there's nothing
Try
really
7
wrong with
years.
it. What?
I was joking. I said try 7 years for me, pretty much, except for a few variations.
Smoothies and salads, yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
amazing. I really have enjoyed this conversation and hearing, about
Oh,
how
I
you
just want to
came
say
to
really
be.
quick before we go,
Oh, we
my
don't
other
have to go.
book.
I was just telling you I enjoyed the conversation.
Oh, I love talking to you. I love our conversation. I miss
I wasn't
talking to
cutting
you,
us off.
actually. What was I going to say? Yeah, the bundle, there's all different kinds of other resources in there. There's like breath work, there's bodybuilding, pregnancy, actually that one's kind of
You
cool,
know what?
preparing for pregnancy. Yeah.
Maybe I can find it here.
And then my Ageless Beauty Method ebook is everything I've learned on my journey over the past 20 years of, like diet, detox, beauty, natural beauty care, because, what we put in our body is just as important as what we put on our skin, on our body. And also like mindfulness, energy cultivation, purpose work, like all these things contribute to a happy, healthy, life full of vitality.
Well, I'm going to share my screen real quick here and try to show the plant-based bundle website for everyone. That way, while we're talking about it, you can kind of see what we're talking about. Can you see on the screen now?
I see it, yeah.
Okay, so it's 95 plus ebooks, courses, and programs, including, we're going to talk about Jamie's other book in here too, but this one that we were just talking about, the Diary of a Food Recovery, I always get it wrong, Diary of a Food Recovery Addict? No?
Or the Ageless Beauty or the food
what's
addiction
your
book?
food addiction book called?
Diary of a Recovering Food Addict.
That's it. And then so
no secrets over here, guys.
95 plus ebooks, courses, and programs. So it's basically over $2,700 in, like, if you bought everything separately. And in this bundle that we do, they do a couple of these a year, but this one is the plant-based bundle. It's 13th one they've done, but this year it runs for 10 days and it's $50 if you buy all of this. And you can see, like Jamie was saying, it has healthy recipes, self-wellness, healthy dressings, juices and smoothies. And you'll probably recognize a lot of your favorite influencers in here. We've got High Carb Hannah, Jillian Berry is in here. I don't know if you ever watch Mike the Vegan. I might say it wrong. It might be Mick the Vegan, but he's really funny. I love his videos. Very educational. We've got just so many people that are in here. We've got juicing. You can tell that there's just different things for everybody. You got 30 high protein vegan recipes, sugar-free vegan desserts, fresh green like juices, 50 plant-based dinners. We've got, there's Jamie. We've got the Ageless Beauty Method. That's the one we're going to talk about right after I scroll through here. We've got the 7-day plant-based meal plan. I'm just reading some of them. You can actually click the link in Jamie's bio or my bio or in the description. I couldn't think of that word. And I'm also going to pin it to the top comment too once we get off of here. And it obviously is just so much. I wouldn't be able to go through each one of these. I might do another live where I kind of show the website. There's Chris Kendall. A lot of us know him. You've got this weird picture of me under Start Salading. You can see I'm inhaling the salad. I'm addicted to salad. How about we'll put it that way in that picture. It looks like easy raw vegan recipes. There's 3 other books or 4 from Jillian, Chef Yen. She's amazing. She's got some raw vegan ice cream copycats, as she calls them, which probably taste just like your favorite flavors. These are some amazing creators in here. And then you do have like dude food. I love that from Raw Nate. Sprouts, if you're interested in sprouts, krauts, and microgreens. So cool. And then him and Lissa are in here with wraps, tostadas, and kale chips. I mean, look at all of this.
Yeah, and their recipes are amazing.
Definitely.
Yeah. To get all their recipe books in here is wow, so much value.
For $50, like one of these things.
Yeah, so there's no catch. It's really you get all this. The only thing is that you have to do it within the 10 days, and then it's gone. You don't get the bundle anymore.
And well, that looks good. Speaking of recipes, and then you've got also some gut health stuff for those interested in that. Kiko is in here. You got who's that lady? Oh, that's my books.
Wow, you have a lot. You have a lot of books on there.
Yeah, I just sent all my books over. I was like,
Larissa. That's my friend Larissa.
Where's she at? Right here?
She's at the yellow flowers on the right-hand side.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Yellow.
She's a fruitarian, yeah.
Oh, cool. And yeah, I recognize that one. Oops, sorry about the noise. Oh, there it is. That's the one I was thinking. I pulled it up for the Eden Pregnancy Blueprint. That's amazing for someone who's ready to become a new parent. the beginner vegan guide. That's amazing. Like, there's bonus material, it looks like, too, here. Everything you need to stay accountable in one place. It's just meal planner. And then it's got the reviews here if you want to see what other people, have thought about it. And you can, when you click, you're not just going to the buy now link. When you click our links, you're going to have this, it'll have the questions, the whole website. You can just look through each and everything and see what's in it. And I think it's a great deal. I know both of us work a lot with beginners, and I think this is a good thing to have a tool. And you don't have to look at everything at once. It can get overwhelming. Like, so many people that did the other bundle, they downloaded it and they're like looking at one every month, or maybe when, it's just, you'll have it forever, all these books and guides.
Yeah. I mean, going plant-based was the best decision I ever made for myself.
Me too.
That and quitting alcohol. My skin cleared up, the weight fell off, my eyes brightened, my vision improved. I just felt I felt like my brain fog disappeared.
Yes.
I'm way more like creative now. I don't know. There's so many benefits. I mean, I've been doing it so long, it's hard to really tell, but I see the life that I was living before and how tired and sluggish I felt. And then I see how I feel now, and it's like night and day. So
for real, that's one of the things I was going to say earlier. I even did a whole video on this before, of the benefits that people don't talk about. Like, we always talk about weight loss. We talk about like our skin and things like that when we think about going plant-based or raw vegan. And really, one of the things that people don't realize is the way that the people I've talked to, they even advance quicker in their career, or they start doing things like this. Like, they want to start talking about it, and they kind of come out of their shell and want to do live.
You find your purpose a bit, right? It almost like connects you to your purpose. You feel, yeah.
I love that. And so tell us, before we forget again, to go over the Ageless Beauty method and how that ties in with what you eat. Or not what you eat, but what
Well,
like
the Ageless Beauty method is what I created over the course of, it's been all of my experience, my knowledge, everything I've researched and learned over the past 20 years, all the things that I do, my little tips and tricks and, natural beauty care. And I compiled it. I wanted to create a book, and I've been waiting for this book, but it was so much information. I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to do this.
Sorry, I tried to put you on the screen and it ended up.
Okay. No, that's fine. That's fine. You can keep it double screen. So, I had so much information, and I'm like, I don't want to just create another book. So I used ChatGPT to take all the stuff, my whole method and everything I've learned. I had documents of so much information that I've been compiling over the years, and I put it into ChatGPT, and I made infographics, and they're beautiful, and they're bright, and they're colorful, and they're playful, and they're fun. So it's a fun book, like you can go through and you can kind of skim through. You can go through the 7 pillars of Ageless Beauty. There's diet, detox, movement, energy, mindset, lifestyle, healthy living, and beauty, natural beauty care. So there's
I love it.
So much. There's like 150 infographics packed with information. It goes into so many different topics. Like, I mean, kind of everything kind of falls under one of the 7 pillars, but there's just so much value in this ebook. And the cool thing is that you could even print them out. You can print them out. You can make like little posters. Like, they're so gorgeous.
Oh, that sounds amazing. And I don't know if this happened.
It makes it fun to read. It's not just like reading like another book, with information. Because I mean, we could just go on Google, and we can just, we can get our information anywhere. So that's why I'm really excited that I made the infographics, because it just makes it so fun and colorful. And I feel like such a creator, and I love creating beauty. And I don't know. So that's how the book came out. So I hope you like it.
I love it. Yeah, I think it's going to be really fun and interactive. You're right. There's so much information out there now that we can find, but I think what's cool about having it in a book or a guide or even a course and things like what you've created is it kind of can simplify it and put it in an order for you to, to understand. Because I think we have so much information, it can be overwhelming. This bundle has everything in one. Your book, all of that about age, like how to, for me, when I started getting cleaner eating, regular makeup would start to burn my like face if I put on like like things that the sense of things that didn't bother me before, the smell became like overwhelming, and like I had to get like fragrance free lotions and stuff. So I love that your book shows you the natural ways to do things that are, not only plant-based but that
And it's
can
interesting that you say that, because a lot of the things that I do, you're not going to find on Google. You're not going to find on the internet. I mean, a lot of it.
Find Jamie's brain on the internet.
Well, a lot of the things I do go against against the mainstream, against the norm. It's not really like acceptable by society. Like, I don't use I don't use soap on my face, so people are just not used to doing something like that. I haven't used like cleanser on my face in 10 years. So I use all natural things that
And your hair, right? Your hair care is different also.
Yeah, I stopped using chemicals on my hair as well and on my body. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just, you're right. There are people's experiences that you're not going to get on the internet. Their wisdom that you're not going to get on the internet.
You're going to get more mainstream stuff.
Yeah, because I guess when you go on Google or something and you're trying to research something, it's going to have, like if you try to talk about health, it's going to give you a very biased information, right? So if you want to really get down to the truth of nutrition and stuff, like sometimes you have to get off of the internet and you have to kind of find people who are living it, who are doing it. So, and the Ageless Beauty it's not a course, it's a lifestyle. It's not even a book, it's a lifestyle. It's the way I live my life, it's the way I've been living my life. Ageless Beauty is just it's what I do now. It's the Ageless Beauty method. Yeah, become my life.
And what was I going to say? Oh, there was something I was going to say. Yeah. And there's something to say about making this fun, because everything can seem so heavy. And I think that's why I'm always trying to add some, humor into our day. And it was so funny earlier when you were talking about going cold turkey, I wanted to say, didn't you go cold tofurkey? But I didn't. I had to add one pun in here. But I did the same thing. I just started I don't know if I've sent you it yet, but I started a newsletter, and in there's like games and puzzles, because even though we're adults, like this doesn't have to be heavy. It doesn't have to be like,
that's why,
oh my gosh, I'm starting a diet. Yeah. I love that you put some graphics into it.
That's exactly it. That's why I created the infographics for the book, because it's fun, it's playful. And Ageless Beauty is about tapping into your inner child. It's about being creative and being lighthearted and being free-spirited. Like that's Ageless Beauty, So like why would my book be boring? You know what I mean? Like, I want it to be fun and beautiful. Yeah.
Absolutely. And what else was I gonna say before we wrap up here? I know we've touched on so much. There's like, where can we find you? I know where, but I want to tell everybody else too where to find you, or where do you want people to find you?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So my Instagram is agelessbeauty143, and then my Facebook is Jamie Love. And I think my YouTube is also either Jamie Love or Ageless Beauty 143. And then we both, JJ and I, have links in our bio. So if you purchase a link from if you purchase from my link, I will get commission from that. And then if you purchase from JJ's link, she will get commission. So we both have links. We're both affiliates on the bundle. So you can go to either one of us. And yeah, but I think you guys are not going to be disappointed with this bundle.
Not at all. And some, like the last bundle, I had someone in my community that I did, and she said that actually reinvigorated her and she got back into her healthy eating journey because of the bundle. Cause like, you know how like sometimes you got to like get yourself excited about something. Like I know when well, the whole reason I went raw vegan was watching one documentary, and that got me like such a spark to say, you know, I want to try this. That looks so fun. These people look like they're like so healthy. So I think having like this can be something that if you've started, you know, or you've stopped or you've gotten off track, it can be a way to get back on track or like make your mind start getting in gear. Even if you're not going to do it right now, if you start watching the content, you might say, you know what, I'm going to try one of those recipes. That wasn't so bad. I think I'll try another one. Oh, wait,
Yeah.
I'm going to go try Jamie's Ageless Beauty Method. Oh my goodness, JJ's raw vegan doesn't have to be hard. Maybe I'll go raw vegan. I don't know. I'm just being
And
silly.
it's not just raw. Like there's a lot
Yeah,
of
there's
cooked whole
100
food plant-based
plants.
recipe books in there. Like we said, there's like breath work and fitness. There's shopping guides. There's
Yeah.
yeah,
High,
there's mindful eating. There's so many different resources in there.
I love that it's that because my audience over the years I've been doing this channel, well, not the whole time I've been vegan, but I've been in different like interviewed different people. So like, you know, I've interviewed plant-based doctors, raw vegan doctors, or not doctors, but raw vegan influencers. You know what I mean? So over the years I've put out different material. So my audience is a mixture of people who are whole food plant-based. Some people are just, you know, looking to become vegan, a lot of beginner raw vegans. So like literally this bundle would be something you could share with someone who's just really touching the surface of this and wanting to just explore plant-based living. It's not so isolated like, you know, to one type of diet. It is all healthy, whole food, plant-based options though that
Well,
you can
even
use.
if you've been plant-based or raw for a long time, like you maybe just want something new, you
Something
know,
different, right?
like yeah, like different sauces or something. And you know, like Lissa and Nate, like
Oh my
their
gosh, those
recipes, like
wraps.
yeah, the wraps look amazing, and then you can choose. You can choose whether you want to try like whole food cooked plant based or raw foods or whatever it is. Or if you're looking for higher protein meals or oil free, there's different recipes for everybody.
There is something for everyone. I'm not a very
Yeah.
good salesman, but that sounded good, right? Something for everyone. Come on, come all. It's hot, but bundle up. Oh wait, I'm sorry. Jamie,
Oh, and
I'm
I was going
so
to say,
glad you're going to have
when
your.
you purchase the bundle, you have access for a year, but you can download them to your computer or hard drive or whatever it is, so you have them forever.
Yes, like you have to download everything within a year, but you keep it for a lifetime,
You keep it
basically.
for a lifetime, yeah, but you have a year to download it. So,
I mean, I'm a procrastinator, but I'm going to get to it within the year.
oh, I downloaded it on day one, and I am happy with it.
Dawn said, or JJ video, and Jamie, I'm so glad you're going to have your stuff in there as well. And she also said, yeah, JJ, I love the book that you had in the last Raw Vegan bundle. Raw Vegan doesn't have to be hard. That was a really good book. Thank you. And then in this one, you also have the Start Salading book, which is exactly where I started. And the book is, I feel like Raw Vegan Doesn't Have to Be Hard is a book that is really going to make your mind think differently. When you were talking about going against the grain, I talk about how there, I talk like you don't have to like go 100%, and it's more of a book about addition and starting to finally celebrate your own wins and really easing into it. And I think you'll enjoy our content, but you'll enjoy all the rest of the content. I appreciate you, Dawn, for saying
I
that. I
just want to say
appreciate
one last
Carl.
thing. Yeah, thank you, Don. Okay, so what you said about the going against the grain, my book, Diary of a Recovering Food Addict, it is a complete paradigm shift, a complete mindset shift. So just letting everybody know, because it's not a diet book. There's no recipe. I mean, there's my one recipe, the food addiction recovery soup in the back, but it's mainly to kind of reprogram your mind of how you view food. And it does have like tips in there of like, how to get to the root of it, the addiction. So just wanted to put that out there. But thank you, JJ, for having me on today.
Oh, I love it. And let's see. I wanted to say, I was trying to think if there's anything that we didn't talk about that we wanted to in this conversation. I should have put bullet points up, but I think we covered a lot today. And
I think this was a great conversation.
I
Yeah,
do
this was great.
too. I really enjoyed it. We'll have to do it again sometime. We'll say
Yeah.
that. Right? Don't make it as long as last time.
I
I think
know,
we
I
would do
know.
that.
Well, well, I'm
We'll
glad
wait for
because
the next bundle.
yeah, I don't even know how often they go, but I'm excited to be a part of this one. It's my first one.
Absolutely. And don't forget to click the links in the description. You can look through the website. And also, if you're watching on Jamie's page, she'll have her link in the description. And then
But in the bio too, you have to go sometime on Instagram. You have to go to the bio. Yeah.
Yes, go to our bio, which is like just clicking on our profile, right? And you'll see our links there. And yeah, I definitely get this bundle. But also, if you missed this, if you're looking at this after 10 days, then join one of our communities, or definitely get and subscribe to our YouTube. I would love to have you here again and check out all of our content and our videos. And also, we both have a school community that you can join in, and that way we can work with you a little bit closer. And anyway, thank you all for watching.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, JJ, do I have to end this live video on Instagram before you end yours?
I'm really not 100% sure. So
okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna end it just in case, because if you end yours, let me see. Okay, I hit live video ended. Does that mean I lost it if I did it before you ended?
No, I think we're good. I'm going to end this one. But
okay.
Anybody have any questions, just leave a comment. I'm going to pay attention to the comments for me or Jamie. And we appreciate you. Share your journey in the comments too. I'd love to hear.
Thanks, JJ. And thank you everyone for tuning in.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Carl and Dawn, for joining live, and everyone else who's going to watch. We appreciate you.
Oh no, I didn't